Sometimes I'm not a very good listener because there was one thing my wife asked me not to do on this episode of Short Time Shots, and that's talk about the Minnesota Vikings. But it's pretty hard when three of the most important girls in my life, and I say girls and women, being my wife and my two daughters, Lucy and Ruby, are decked out in purple, and you see what happens when your 5-year-old realizes what losing is as she's wrapped up in a Vikings blanket my mom made her for Christmas 2 years ago. Sadly, the Vikings faithful are used to heartbreak. This is one reason I'm trying to at least salvage Ruby, the youngest, to be a Buccaneers fan. You see, I grew up a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. I'm still a diehard, even though most years since 2002, I can pretty much check out around week 10. Knowing that the playoffs are a pipe dream, when you're a Bucs fan, there are no expectations. The Super Bowl in 2002 was an outlier, a one-off. I can die a happy man knowing that once the worst franchise in pro sports history has a championship. Eat that, Browns fans. Now, this isn't a show about football. It's Short Time Shots, a look back at today's notable college wrestling scores and more. I'm your host, Hall of Fame wrestling writer, broadcaster, and announcer Jason Bryant, and we've got some things to talk about today. Did you know, Q Sports Center theme from like 1992, did you know there were 63 dual meets on Sunday? 63, yeah. All those results available at Matt Talk Online's College Wrestling Scoreboard. It's the link in the logo at the top right of the page on Matt Talk Online that says Scoreboard. Or just go to MattTalkOnline.com's Almanac page at almanac.matttalkonline.com to check it out. It's the most comprehensive college wrestling scoreboard in the nation, and it's hosted right here, done by yours truly, I can't spell. Roads, Rudes. Yeah. Anyway, the first big duel of the day, of course, the biggest duel of the day, took place in Columbus, Ohio, where second-ranked Ohio State topped fourth-ranked Iowa 22-12 in front of 15,117 fans at Value City Arena, lovingly known as The Shot. The crowd rates 14th all-time in Division I dual meet attendance and was the final quote-unquote home duel for Nathan Tomasello, Bo Jordan, and Kyle Snyder. Two of those three did not disappoint. That is, if you're a Buckeye fan. Iowa true freshman Spencer Lee's proficient top work was good enough to get him past Tomasello 3-2 at 125. Lee's two escapes and a riding time point were enough to overcome Tomasello's third-period takedown. Iowa's Brandon Sorensen beat Keyshawn Hayes at 149 pounds, while Micah Jordan lost to Michael Kemmerer at 157. Alex Marinelli picked up a win in his home state and beating Tayshan Campbell at 165 pounds. But then it was all Buckeyes. Bo Jordan, Miles Martin, Colin Moore, and Kyle Snyder swept the last four weights to keep Ohio State unbeaten. Questions were circling about why Iowa, which needed a fall to win the duel, didn't send out Sam Stoll at 285 pounds and sent out Stephen Holloway to take a beating from the world and Olympic champion. You guys can discuss that all you want. If you're a Hawkeye fan, you think one way. Everybody else kind of thinks another. It is what it is. I wanted to see where Sam Stoll was at. I guess we'll have to wait to the grind of the Big Ten tournament to find that out. In ranking order, top-ranked Penn State had little trouble staying unbeaten with a 47-3 plundering of Maryland. The Nittany Lions pruned the hedges of many small villages and scored 6 falls, including 5 in a row, and I'll give you one guess where they came to improve to 9-0 on the year. The best match of the duel was at heavyweight, where Nick Nevels beat Yusuf Hamida 4-1 in an upset on paper, depending on which rankings you prefer. 5th-ranked Oklahoma State smashed Kent State 42-3, while 7th-ranked Lehigh got back on track with a 30-6 win over Army West Point. By the way, Army and Navy both wrestled on Sunday, while the government shutdown impacted the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy and the U.S. Air Force Academy. So I asked Navy assistant coach Nate Engel why Navy and Army got to wrestle on Sunday and Air Force didn't. And he kind of explained, and he actually was an assistant coach at Air Force, that Army and Navy have their athletic departments separate officially from the school. They're like nonprofits. They're 501c3, so they don't actually work for the government. They're like a sub-company so they can compete. It's weird. Air Force is setting up their department this way. Apparently don't have enough funds yet to operate the way Army and Navy do athletically. I don't have 100% confirmation on this, but that's kind of the gist of what Nate was telling me. Again, no confirmation, kind of like the House and the Senate. Rib shot. But by the way, I hate politics. You won't hear me talk about it on the show, so screw politics. I was at the Materi Pavilion on Sunday afternoon watching the number 8 Michigan Wolverines beat the ever-loving crap out of Minnesota. Let's make this clear. The Gophers are not a bad team. Michigan just beat them every which way but loose. The Gophers' lone bright spot was Nick Wanzik. Oh, they did have another win with Tommy Thorne, but the brightest spot, Nick Wanzik beating Logan Massa 14-8 at 165. Other than that, really, the Wolverines just out-hustled and out-wrestled the Gophers to the tune of a 30-7 win. Stevan Micic packed up Mitch McKee with a cradle at 133 pounds and just kind of signified the day for Minnesota sports fans as a whole. More on that later. Virginia Tech went up to Pitt and beat the Panthers 31-10. A good win by BC. The headache powder LaPrade at 157 pounds. He beat Taleb Rahmani. And yes, I mentioned BC quite a bit on this program because he gets a bit of a push because he's from my home area. It's my show. He's from my home district, even though New Kent is a rival of my alma mater. When I graduated high school, New Kent wasn't yet AA, so I never saw New Kent as a rival. But he also wrestled for Virginia Team Predator, coached by Mark Strickland, who's a guy I have a lot of history with, including my bathroom door. South Dakota State's Connor Brown picked up a gigantic fall to start off the duel against Northern Iowa as the 15th-ranked Jackrabbits are sure to move up in the rankings after a 22-16 win over number 11 Northern Iowa in front of over 1,200 fans at Frost Arena on Sunday. In case you're wondering, South Dakota State's highest Division I ranking of all time is 15th, which is where they sit right now. So the 15th, they beat 11. They're going to move up. They're going to be ranked higher than they've ever been, ever, in Division I next week. Nebraska rallied past Rutgers 19-13 in Lincoln, while Ryder stopped Edinburgh's 24-match EWL win streak with a 21-15 win over the Fighting Scots of Edinburgh. John Cullen, my apologies for that really bad Scottish accent. Appalachian State improved to 3-0 in the Southern Conference with a 39 win over SIU Edwardsville. Oklahoma beat Northern Colorado 28-10 in front of nearly 5,000 fans at a Beauty and the Beast tandem match with gymnastics. Iowa State beat West Virginia 25-17. Sam Colbray finally won a big match, beating Jake Smith at 197 pounds. Colbray, with all those Fargo titles, struggling mightily in college wrestling. This was a big win for him. Tip the cap to Bloomsburg, which beat VMI and Sacred Heart at home on Sunday. Duke's Jacob Casper picked up a fall at 285 pounds to give Duke a 23-22 win over Navy in Durham. Casper's fall tied to score, but Duke won the duel on the second criteria, most number of 6-point victories. And, of course, as you guessed it, that fall, yep, that was the second fall for Duke. And that was the difference maker in the end. Campbell beat Gardner-Webb 31-7. Chattanooga topped the Citadel 38-7. While Clarion blanked George Mason in the EWL 48-0. And, of course, my alma mater beat, that would be Old Dominion, beat American 27-10. Outside of Division I, Central Oklahoma beat Lindenwood 32-13. While in Division III, Johnson and Wales went 4-0 to win the New England Conference duels. The Wildcats beat intra-state rival Roger Williams 20-15. Top-ranked Augsburg beat UW Eau Claire 34-3 in Minneapolis, so at least one team in the Twin Cities got a win on Sunday. Ooh, out too soon? Yeah, maybe so. Hey, folks, Division I Fan Guide on sale now, available for pre-order. MattTalkOnline.com/FanGuide18. Use the promo code podcast. Save yourself $5. Tell your friends this is by far the best freaking piece of data you can have in your hands, on your tablet, on your phone for the NCAA Division I championships coming up in Cleveland. Also working on maybe a Division III version. Not quite as robust, but John Gremmels and I, he is the czar of Division III wrestling results and data. We're working on something for you D3 fans out there. So again, for Division I, MattTalkOnline.com/FanGuide18. It retails for $19.99, worth every penny. Save yourself $5 by using the offer code podcast. That's all I got for you now. This has been Short Time Shots for January 21st, 2018. I'd like to thank you for spending your time with me. I can't sing. It's just really bad. Thank you for spending your time with me because you've always got time for Short Time. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. The Short Time Wrestling Podcast is proudly outfitted by Compound Clothing. Shirts, singlets, custom gear orders, everything you need. Call up Cliff and the crew at cmpteamwear.com. First time listening? Well, you can change that by going to mattalkonline.com/get-short-time to subscribe on Apple Podcasts or listen on your favorite podcatcher at mattalkonline.com/listen.